Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. The penultimate Monday episode. We will be back next week. All of us here. You know what? I might get Nathan on as well. I might get a man to finish off the season. But Premier League season coming to a close. We've still got a title race. And I think we'll have us all here to do we'll do a watch along the final day as well.
Yeah, definitely.
For that title. Let's get a few screens up here. We'll do that. So still exciting in many regards. Relegation battle is over. We'll discuss that a little bit as well. And then we've got our season awards before next week. We do the big one. We'll do the ladder wrap up and we'll do our team of the season next week. So next week will be more fun. But this week we'll just get over a few things here quickly. Quickly with what we learned from the weekend. I want to start with this. It'll follow on to the next game. I'm going to say Josko Vardiol is literally Gundogan in disguise. I think I've seen a few tweets on it as well. Bro's got 5 goals in 7 games from left back. Never scored in his first 40 games. And he's just the gun now. He looks literally like Gundogan, late into the box, scoring late goals. Big goals for the title race. He might be German. Give him a German passport.
Well, yeah, he's been exceptional recently. I think as City just trots basically into gear at this time of the season, which if I was an Arsenal fan would make me basically have no hope because you just watch that game you expecting Fulham, Bernd Leno's come out once for the club basically. For the club and you're expecting Fulham to probably put a bit of a better fight up, but City just go get the job done pretty convincingly as well. And it's okay, now we set our sights on Tottenham. That game there, you're still hopeful, but I think we're more hopeful on the fact that what we saw from Tottenham 6 months ago than what we actually seen from Tottenham now. Really, it should be a complete write-off.
Yeah, no, it should be.
But you've got some sort of hope that Madison's going to clock into form. Son's going to... They've still got quality players, Tottenham, and they can sit as well. But, yeah, I think that moves on to what I learned from the season. I think City have all but penciled in the Premier League.
You've got them written down.
No, I don't have them written down. I'm saying all but.
The pencil's
don't get me wrong.
right.
There's 2 games left. You've only got to drop... you only got to get a draw out of those 2 games, and they've lost the league because I think Arsenal as well, I think, are going to continue and just go down the path of winning both their games. But I just don't see where they lose. City always go through the season. It's they're not in great form. They're not in this, but it just gets to a point in the season. It's just yep, let's click, and they're in that form at the moment. And the thing with City as well is we've spoken about it so many times. It's just we're looking at them as well. What they did last year, what they did the year before, what they've done for 6 years now, and if they've never choked before, what's to say they're going to choke now? And I think we were very hopeful when Arsenal had those 2 games in hand. City still had 6 games left, so you're there's a possible 18 points. Even if City just gets 16 of it, we still win the league. Not we, but Arsenal. Yeah. I was saying it from the perspective of an Arsenal fan. We still win the league. But as you get to 2 games now, they got through those 4. There was a couple tough ones in there.
Yeah.
It's I just don't know. But I think
hope's lost.
better to be an Arsenal fan and have a hope in match week 38
than have no hope.
Have no hope at all.
Well said. That leads you on to the first game, which was Fulham 0. Man City 4, watched this one, and I was struggling because it was very boring. Usually New City were once that first goal went in, 20 minutes, some of that, 13 minutes is all it took. And De Bruyne, by the way, what a pass first time, little dink over the top. Vardiol scores, and once that first went in, you're game done.
Exactly.
Game's gone. Because even Nottingham Forest, we put up a better fight, and I sort of previewed this and said it in the preview that Fulham are flying kites at training on Wednesday. I'm there's no chance they care about what's going on. They're on the beach. And that's the problem. I think a lot of teams, even this Tottenham game coming up, if Aston Villa win tonight when we're recording this, Tottenham have nothing to play for either.
Yeah.
So you're as much as they're supposed to be professionals, and I'd like to see them players fight, I doubt they'd care. And I think this game here just showed Fulham tried, but it's their first game all year. They haven't had a shotless throughout the first half. I think that their first shot came the 60th minute. And so, Man City just control. De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Foden scores goals. Haaland gets his goal. It was Alvarez in the penalty spot. But it's just 4-0, clinical. And it wasn't the 1-0. They're still closing this goal difference up, which, again, we think Arsenal should be fine for the goal difference. But if hypothetically it gets close there, if they battered Tottenham on midweek, Wednesday, you're all of a sudden looking at the points gap and then also the goal difference gap.
Yeah, exactly.
As well.
So they can maybe get away with that.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like I could see them putting 5 or 6 past Tottenham the way Tottenham have been. So like this whole goal difference thing might end up reversing itself because they've battered Fulham, they've battered Wolves, they've battered Luton. They're in great form. We know what they do. Like the whole they could draw a game or win the title is getting slimmer and slimmer every time we look at it as well. Because Arsenal only beat United 1-0 as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Do you think there's any way which Arsenal have an avenue here? Is it the Tottenham game or is it the final? Like, which way do you reckon?
I think it's going to be more the final. I just think that you get, like last year when you looked at City and they were 2-0 down to West Ham. I think you just hope. Oh no, it wasn't. It was Villa. Villa.
Yeah, 2 years ago they were down to Villa. Yeah, and then Maguire.
2 years ago. Yeah. So I think you're just hopeful again that something is going to happen there. I think it's just like, if one can score early and then just puts a bit of pressure on City, but then we've seen them come out of these situations. It could be the Tottenham game as well, but I'd probably more likely go, if it's going to happen, it's going to be the last game of the season.
West Ham, I think it is. Which, again,
it's probably a good game it's a good game though, because West Ham could very easily score early and set the shop up.
Yeah, well, they definitely could. They'd be David Moyes classic.
Yeah, I think that's definitely an opportunity, but yeah, we know how potent Tottenham can be if they're on.
Yeah, if they're on, yeah.
If they're on, like we saw that second half against Arsenal when they were really, really coming.
Yeah.
I think it just needs to be one of those things where they don't concede in the first 30 minutes.
Yeah,
if they concede in the first 30 minutes, City go put a second one on, and then they're playing catch up from there. So it will be very difficult, but if they can just hold on, I think we'll be all right, because I don't see a game where Tottenham don't score, to be honest.
Yeah, I think they've only not scored once all year, I think. Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so if they can just hold on to the 30th minute, then Tottenham's surely going to put a goal in the back of the net.
Yeah, that could be the thing, right?
It's very difficult. We're talking about a team that hasn't even dropped points since, February?
Something like that. That's been ridiculous.
Maybe even January?
Yeah, God. I think it's 7 games they've not, dropped a point. They've only conceded,
it's way more, isn't it?
I think they drew something before that. But unbeaten wise, I think I haven't been beaten since December or something like that.
It's gonna, at the end of the season, it's gonna look back and it's gonna be like, Unai lost Arsenal the
title. Yeah,
that's the last time they've dropped points.
Yeah,
isn't that the only time they've dropped points this whole year?
Whole year, yeah.
Every other game they're gonna win.
Yeah, that could be it. Unai's come back to haunt them again.
And if they got to draw that game, would they be on top right now? Are they 1 point behind or 2?
No, they're on top right now by 2 because they won last week.
Okay, so if they got a draw, they'd be in pole
3
position.
Points. They'd be 2 points clear if they draw.
Okay, only 2.
So it wouldn't really make much difference. You had to win that game, basically. The West Ham game is one as well. You lose the West Ham at home. That's another tough one.
That was when they lost 2 in a row on the trot.
That was the crisis.
Also, Villa early on, again, taking 0 points from Villa.
Taking 0 points from Villa, taking 3 off West Ham. From those sort of middle bracket clubs.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, especially you would have expected that the second time around against Villa. When they're in that run of form, it's a home game.
Home as well.
Yeah, it's stuff that we're going to have to look back at next episode, but we shall see. Get the popcorn out and ready to go.
Get it ready to go in the final day. We're going to have a final day hurrah here. As I said, Oscar Vadio, 2 goals. Superstar in that game there. We'll go to the next game, which is one of them I watched on Saturday night, West Ham and Luton, just to see if Luton would stay up.
Yep.
Got off to a flying start. Lakonga scored early. West Ham was shit at the back again. But then the second half, I reckon David Moyes gave a passionate speech about his last game, and they came. That was a good send off for David Moyes for
exactly.
West Ham been pretty shit 2024, but that was a good result. 3-1 at home. Again, I don't think they can get anything. They're just sort of in no man's land a bit, but good to send him off at home with a win. Obviously, they've got Man City final day, so they can cause any problems there. But 3-1 win there. Well, Prowse goal. Souček scored as well. And then the 17-year-old came on and finished it off. But unfortunate for Luton, they've gone down. I guess that's the story of it all. good season, I guess. Like, it's hard. You can't really say bad season because everyone had them like last or second last. So, like, they've fought to the second last day to be alive. They were potentially staying safe when they were up 1-0. Just feels like there's so many games that could have nicked points. Like,
so many. At
home, you got Arsenal, City, United, that you got some of Newcastle, they got some of Brighton, but like Chelsea even. That you can go through basically all the top half and be like...
Who were they 3-0 up against?
Was it Arsenal? No. I don't think Arsenal.
I think it was Newcastle.
Something like that. Like, but they just keep bottling leads, man.
Yeah, they were 3-0 up or something, lost 4... No, to Bournemouth.
Maybe that was away. Maybe it was away.
Yeah, they lost 4-3.
They lost 4-3, yeah. Because they beat Bournemouth at home. They lost them away. They're up 1-0 against City, going into like the 70th minute or something like that.
They're 1-0 against Liverpool in the 95th minute.
You can see the last kick of the game.
Yeah.
It's just, it's tough because there's some likeable players. The manager's likeable and they're a good team. It's just we know how we keep saying the championship, you can't just say you're going to come back up because it's too hard. We got the problems
now, like people like Ross Barkley who have showed a bit in the Premier League. He's going to be another team next year.
Yeah. Doughty, Adebayo, all these sort of half good guys will come up with the new teams probably. They'll get transferred to the new teams. I don't see them staying much together. If they can, fair play. I'll give them a round of applause for that. But
it's going to be a tough year next year. Very tough.
You become the hunted if you go down.
Yeah, because you look at the teams that are going to come up. Like, I don't see Leicester in the same bracket as the 3 that just came up this year.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Leicester won't get relegated. Obviously,
there's a chance,
they've just gone up.
Yeah,
so the chance of them going down would probably be still decently high. But you look at the squad they got there and the likelihood of them bringing in a couple more reinforcements. I'd say their squad already, if they get the manager's doing well and they continue on their form from the championship, could stay up because their squad would be probably as strong as like a Forest.
Oh, yeah, they probably play better than Forest.
They got people like Winks, who've played for Tottenham for like 5 years. And don't get me wrong, he probably wasn't of quality of Tottenham, but he's definitely a Premier League player.
Yeah.
You look at some other players like around, like they got like Danilo Pereira, like at right back. Like I know we're talking about a lot of names here who haven't actually done something in 2-3 years now. But they're
in good form though, right now.
Yeah, they're still players that are good players.
Yeah.
Still got the people like Inacio, Vardy, Doc, what's his name? Daka.
Yeah. Ndidi, all these guys.
Exactly that. We're talking about some players that have been like top 4 Premier League.
Yeah. Well, they were in this players in the Champions League team that they had. So I think they'll be like, I don't know if the ring on them as well, but they should be like a 13th third place team, right? They should.
Yeah, well they got the City guy, don't they?
Yeah, Baresco, the former Pep's like getting another ball guy, another Pep right hand man. We had the bald PL next season with
that's all right. If they're going bad, bring back Claudio.
Get him to put another masterclass up editing, but boom, in the Champions League. Yeah, I think they'll be all right. Leeds, if they come up, will be a bit dodgy.
I really like the looks of Ipswich, but they're giving me too much.
You know they've won more points than Pep has since McKenna's been there. He's won more points than Pep.
Yeah, I know.
193 versus 109. It's ridiculous.
They look exceptional. I think like they're going to try and get on a proper deal Brandon Williams because he was influential in the first 6 months of the year. There's been big links that United will sell him. There'll be a couple others, and they've got some good players. But I'm just thinking like when we compare them to that Leicester team, although they were close in the league, we look at the players in the Leicester team like we've got Ndidi going against Massimo Luongo. Massimo Luongo has been really good and vital in Ipswich actually going from League One to the Championship now to the Premier League. But we're talking about some players here who are Premier League proven, done it at a high level in the Premier League, and then a player who is currently in some good form.
Yeah. Nah, it's just going to be a thing where they'll be like Luton, I think. You're going to have to keep good home form.
It's hard though because the way they play quite expansive.
Yeah.
At least Luton, I feel like if Luton played expansive, they would have been down. They would have been down at match week 4.
This Christmas time, they'll be opening up the championship present. Yeah.
It depends who they bring in, but I can't see Ipswich having this master. Like I could see Leicester going and spending 60 mil.
Oh, easy.
Whereas I can't see Ipswich spending more than 20, 25 net.
They've only spent 4.5 over 2 seasons, so Like
They might spend 20 maybe because they get a nice amount from going in the Premier League.
they're gonna have to sign back all their players they've got there now, like Hutchinson from Chelsea. There's another guy on loan from Brighton.
It's going to be a lot of loan players. You're going to have to
Sarmiento from Brighton. He's a good player for them. They'll probably sign him on a full contract. There's your budget going.
See, that's where I would look and I would go, speak to United. Obviously, you got the connection there, McKenna. But like, there's a lot of these younger players
Chelsea.
now that have got experience this year, like a Cambuella.
Yeah.
When we got everyone fit, where does he play at United next year? He doesn't.
I think you got to go to Chelsea as well. Chelsea got so many players and they need to sell.
Even you look at, I know this is probably a hard one and this is very unlikely, but even someone like an Ahmed, if he ain't getting game time, put him on loan in the Premier League. He could be amazing for them, especially that's the type of game they play.
You need those selling clubs. You need the clubs you want to get rid of players. You want to go to those clubs.
I think it's going to be more on the loan market than on the selling because how much can they do with 20, 30 mil?
You can get a few for, you get the 3 or 4 players for around the 8 million mark, 10 million mark. And then
I think you're kidding yourself in this transfer market.
Oh, but this year's a big thing for Chelsea, for Man United, for it's probably even Newcastle. There's a lot of dead wood that needs to be sold to these clubs that need to push on. Even Brighton, to an extent, they've got a lot of dead wood there now. You can nick a few for under their market value.
Yeah, but these older players that are just on the down. I think if you're at Ipswich, you got to find these players that are more on the up. Like a bit like they've get those Brandon Williams in who works well in their games. Like they know that's worked well.
See if Brandon Williams is still playing football next year. That's another question as well because bloke is he got 30 points on his driver's license. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
So the joke's being he's got more points than United have got points in the Premier League and his driver's license. But there you go. So Luton down, unfortunately.
Yeah, we rambled a bit there.
That's just what we do best on Mondays here. West Ham getting a good result for Moisey. Can Moisey put something else in the title race? I did the video on Crystal Palace and Wolves.
Yep.
That was a good game. 3-1. I somehow managed to watch the 2 best games on Saturday. I think I felt like 3-1 to Palace. Mateta, Eze, Elise. We obviously know firsthand from last week what they can do to teams. But if you haven't watched them, go ahead and watch them at some point because these guys were killing it and it might be the last time we see them together because Elise looks like he's on the way out for the 60 million release clause to a lot of clubs. It looks like a lot of clubs are in to get that 60 million release clause. Eze is always linked away as well.
I've got a question there with Elise. I know this is going back to United and I always turn it back, but is him could Ahmed not do the role that Elise basically does?
I'm not. I think Elise is a better player right now, but there's no reason why Ahmed couldn't become that player.
Yeah.
But it's just that one's there and doing it, and it looks good and shiny and new, so you got to, get it.
Is that not the problem with United for the last 10 years, though?
Yeah, no. Well,
it's like, I want the new toy.
That's literally what I'd be saying. But it's like I have a bit of a soft spot for Elise. I reckon he's one of the better players.
Yeah, definitely.
So I can understand that. But then when you've got the likes of Rashford, and you've got these wasteful players like Anthony there, that's sort of where you should be playing the Ahmads instead. So you should have already known if he was good enough by now because you shouldn't be playing Rashford and Anthony all season. You should have played Ahmad 30 games already. But you've only seen him start his first game last night. He goes off injured. So, you know what I mean? There's missed opportunities there. Yep. We could have already known Elise wasn't needed because we could have had Ahmad. But you don't know because he's only played, what do you reckon he's played 3,000 minutes in the year? Max.
Who?
Ahmad, over his sub appearances. What he's making 10
3,000?
Yeah, so he's made about 40, 10. He comes in about the 60-minute mark most games. Last
no
10
way.
Games. I reckon he's played about
maybe in the last 10, but
3,000 across the season. I reckon he would have played 3,000 minutes across the season.
Nah, I think you're kidding yourself. I reckon he wouldn't have played 1,000 minutes.
He's definitely made at least 10 sub appearances.
Yeah.
He comes on 60, 70 minutes?
If you make 10 sub appearances at 30 minutes.
Oh, I got my maths wrong.
That's only 300 minutes.
Okay, no, I've made my math wrong.
He ain't hitting 1,000 minutes this year. I reckon he's hit 600-700.
Yeah, okay, sorry. I mean, I probably made 500 then. Oh, gee, I just added a zero for some
3,000, 3,000's what the players that are starting every week we've hit.
There's my maths showing up. Amad Diallo minutes. I reckon he would be on...
I'm going to go 720. Actually, I reckon that's a push.
Wait, how do you check... there's no one showing me it. Jeez.
That's a big push saying 720, to be honest.
Maybe 600? 600 minutes?
Wouldn't be surprised if it was under 500.
230. So he's played 310 minutes across the competitions. So I was right. I just added the wrong zero, zero at the end. Yeah, so 7 appearances, 6
He's only played
subs
7 appearances.
in the Prem, yeah. And then FA Cup, 1 start and 2 subs.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
When you look at how good he was last night, how good he is every time he gets on the pitch, like, why?
Well, he got injured at the start of the season, but then he was available from like match week sort of 17, 18 onwards.
Yeah.
And just never used.
I don't know. I just look at these players and I look, if he gets a couple games across, he'll get. You saw what he did for, was it Sunderland?
Sunderland, Atalanta before he joined.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I don't know.
What's the thing, like for Palace though, if you keep Elise, I think Eze's more likely to stay, and Mateta's like become bloody. Oh, here's a good example. Give me the Edin Dzeko type vibe, or who's probably better than Dzeko? Who's better than that? Go on, we'll just say Drogba because he's dark as well. he's giving like Drogba vibe. He's just putting everything in the back of the net. If you keep all 3 of them next season, just for like one more chance, like I said, I think that could get like maybe a bit of Conference League. They could go to that team that pushes in. They did that the Brighton did last year and push in, because like right now their points tally has been ridiculous since Glasner's joined, and obviously it all relies on Elise staying, but I feel like every club in the world would be up to it. If you'd be wrong not to go, I feel like for 60 million in the modern day market.
Well, I heard it's even less. I heard it's like 50.
Oh,
I heard it's crap, the 60 million.
The release clause, whatever it is, you got to go after that, because he'd be like 100 million in the current market. Oh yeah, he's a £100 million player.
Premier League proven, like you bring all those variables into place.
Scoring all these goals for Premier League teams, exactly. Like it just seems like he'd be so much. So like I don't know who ends up with him. Maybe Liverpool with the whole new management there. Do they want to hit someone like him? But it feels like he'd be a player that's definitely shopped around a fair bit. Next thing, quickly before we get into our awards, this sort of links onto the title thing. So Tottenham beat Burnley 2-1, but once again they were really just rubbish.
Yep.
You're getting goals from Mickey van der Ven and Pedro Porro. Like you're getting more goals from your defence than you are your strikers.
Yep.
Like everyone's talking about Maddison being rubbish. Okay, I get that, but Son's just like disappeared. And I know everyone's like, oh, he's been pushed out left, blah blah. But he's a left wing at heart, so you know he's a captain and the like. So I'm you need more from Son. But Mickey van der Ven was bloody good finish. He should be the striker of the team. Bloody good finish. I think it was like an 80th minute goal. We end up scoring in the end, 82nd minute. Burnley, that means they go down as well. Another team confirmed. So all 3 now confirmed to be down. But yeah, Tottenham, I don't know. Still alive for Champions League somehow. If Villa lose tonight, they've still got a chance. But I don't know. This Tottenham, I'm not really convinced with Tottenham.
Nah, neither.
I haven't been convinced since. When you reckon the last had a good game? Probably Christmas time, New Year's time?
Yeah, around then. Oh, there'd probably be one in like January, February.
If I go back, I just can't remember the last time I played good.
Yeah, it's a total different Tottenham team. And I can't believe I'm saying it, but the pressure probably like is on Ange a bit. And it's not because they're 5th. Like he's not getting sacked. I'm not saying that. No. I'm just saying because if you do the second half of the season, they're like 11th.
Mm. Yeah.
And it's like, I think the thing is, if that continues on to next year, and obviously like they're hopeful that they'll have the players fit, and that was a big thing, but they've got the players now. They're back now.
Yeah. You need to make some good signings. I think there'll be pressure from the start. Like he's almost done himself a disservice because he played so well at the start.
Yeah, it's that expectation.
Everyone's like, oh wait, they're a top 4 team.
It was like what we said a while back now, but it was like, oh, if Tottenham don't make top 4, it's not a disappointment based off what we saw at the start of the season.
Yeah.
But when you readjusted your expectations, then yes, it was a disappointment.
After like 3 weeks, we thought that this team's one of the better ones going around, and I know that's early, but that's the way it works.
Even after 10 weeks,
and
they took it to Arsenal.
It was into that.
I think match week 4 or match week 5, where they should have won, and they were way better than Arsenal. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that was at the Emirates. At the Emirates as well. Yeah,
it was basically the Maddison injury that fell everything apart. The midfield's not been the same.
They've got to definitely, I think, go find a striker. That's undoubtedly.
That's the obvious one I think you have to get. Yeah.
And then go find another midfielder.
Yeah, have to.
Because I feel like they just... They just got Energizer bunnies in there at the moment, I think is the best way to explain
Hoiberg,
it.
Bentancur, Papsar.
Yeah, they're just people that like
run around a bit.
Yeah, a bit passion merchants.
You need some of them, but you got too many of them, I feel like.
Yeah.
You need some like quality in there. I don't know, but I think who's available. This market's going to be hard this year, I feel like.
There's a lot of good players you could try to get from the Bundesliga. I think the thing with English teams is they're too much wanting to stay in the Premier League.
They're too scared.
There's so many good players outside. Like
Syria.
You go look at Ange. He went into Mickey van der Ven and like got him for what, 40 was it?
Stuffle, yeah. It was bag of chips.
He was like centre back of the year last year, and you go to the Bundesliga and get their centre back of the year for 40 mil.
Yeah. He won their Young Player of the Year, their Fans Player of the Year, and their Player of the Year, Mickey van der Ven. That goes to show, right? He spends smart money.
That's what I'm trying to say, and that's for 40 mil.
If
he did that in the Premier League, it would be 400 million.
The Vardy prices and all that rubbish. Yeah. He might go to Scotland, back to Celtic, some of his old players there. I think Jota's leaving Saudi.
Yeah, he could be going there.
Yeah, he could be a guy who can get back because he killed it. I think he had like 15 goals under Ange last season.
Yeah.
Someone to help because Richarlison's just a bloody wind-up merchant. I don't think he's actually he's not even a bench player. He went through a
little bit of a form, but I wouldn't.
Like that's the thing, like I'm thinking like getting rid of him altogether. Like you need to get 2 forwards, maybe a striker.
I think there's going to be a lot of cleanups by a lot of teams this year. The only thing is who buys them. That's the problem.
And how much time have you got? Because Euros, right? You've literally got like three weeks. I think
a lot of these players though that they're wanting to clean up will happen while the Euros is on. Because I think a lot of them aren't Euro quality. Well, you got to look at so Richarlison obviously will be at the Copa America.
He'll be at Coppers.
But you got to look at a lot of these Tottenham United players, even some of these other Spurs players. I don't think they're of quality. Or they're injured.
Hoiberg will go. Bentancur will go to Copper. Who else would they want to sell?
Maybe Tottenham got a few, but more looking at United, Chelsea, maybe even Brighton.
So Chelsea, Thiago's already gone. Gally, what would we say? It's really hard to know now exactly who.
Chelsea's a hard one though because Chelsea, the players that aren't performing are the players they just brought in.
Yeah. So what do you do with?
So it's like the Caicedos, the Enzos, Lavia hasn't played, but those type of players who aren't going. Let's be honest, they're not going anywhere. United, I think yes, maybe Sterling,
and he probably won't go to Euros, so that might be someone that's gettable. But even Eriksen will go to Euros. Like,
I don't think Eriksen's a big deal though because I'll just let Eriksen go for free if they have to.
Yeah.
I just think with United, there's a lot more of those players that are like, okay, you've been here for long enough now. Time to go. Like,
but it's just you get worried. This is what I was saying with Nathan. Like, you get worried about who you sell and when you sell because between like the end of the Euros and probably the tour or like the pre-season, you've got like 2 weeks.
I think well,
you have to be quick.
Looking from a United standpoint, I think it's just going to be like, I wouldn't mind if we had another year where we finished like 6th to 8th, if we can clear the whole club and play youngsters. I'll have a problem if we keep them because it's a bit like when you go in AFL and you go through that rebuild. Like Hawthorn did. Hawthorn, they went, okay, Tom Mitchell and Jago O'Meara, get out of our club for basically nothing. And we'll give the younger players. We know that we're going to have a worse season based off this, but in the long run, it's going to be beneficial. And I'm not saying we're United, so I'm not saying to go finish 12. I'm never gonna be a United supporter and say
12.
That's acceptable. But what I'm saying is, I wouldn't be like outraged at the fact if we finished like Europa League or Conference League next year and we could clear 15 players from our. I know that's basically impossible, but
you
to do it,
just think something like that level, Because so Tottenham probably need it, United will need it, Brighton might need it
a lot,
Chelsea will need it. Who's another? There's got to be some more teams. I think there's a lot of teams. Newcastle might need it.
I think West Ham with a couple of those players that just didn't play like this year. Like I know Mikel Antonio played at the end, but Mikel Antonio, Pablo Fornals,
I think one of the big boys are going to be going as well. I think Paquetá Kudus might be going as well in the summer.
Where's Kudus going to go? Because Paquetá might get those links again to City.
But I think Kudus will go to any club. Like he's performing out of his skin.
What is he though? Because they brought him in for 50, didn't they? 40 or 50?
40, 50, yeah. I think he go for 60?
Nah.
70?
He's done way more because the problem was, if he came in for 40, Kudus, He's coming from Ajax, which is a good team, but it's not in a prolific league.
Yeah.
So then he goes, 40 because of what he's done. But now he's now gone, I've proved it in the Premier League. It's got to be 80.
No, I don't think anyone's going to pay 80. It's a problem.
Well, I don't think you can let him go for under 80.
It's fun. Yeah. It'll be interesting, though, because West Ham, Lopetegui.
Look what he's done in the Premier League.
I don't think he'll work
and
on
Lopetegui 40. Either. Nah, I disagree. I think someone will get him for 80.
If someone's pay 80, you might get yourself a good player, but 80, you're asking for a flop. If
okay, I've got a question. Arsenal went and spent 70 on Kai Havertz. And Kai Havertz has been good, don't get me wrong. But he hasn't done anything for 24 months.
Yeah, maybe I was being so different. He won a Champions League final for like Chelsea. He'd done something.
Yeah, but he had one good game. He never was that good for Chelsea. Where Arsenal bought him hoping to bring back the Leverkusen Kai Havertz.
Yeah, the old Kai Havertz, yeah.
And basically played him in that role as well.
Yeah.
Because since he went to Chelsea, he was playing more as that number 10. And then maybe at the end he played as a proper 9, like number 9.
With no service.
Whereas this year he's more played as that false.
Yeah.
Which was his role at Leverkusen, which obviously he's excelling in. But you're buying 70 mil for the unknown there.
Yeah.
Okay, United go buy 55 or 60 for Mount. So you're telling me that Kudus, who just had what did he have? 10 goals and like 8 assists.
Oh, I'm not saying he's a bad player, but like
I can't see how he goes for less than those two players. So it's at least 70.
At least. Well, I think he's 65, maybe 70 player. But yeah, you're risking a lot.
I don't know if you are though. Okay, so you're not risking a lot for Mason Mount and Kai Havertz?
Oh, 100% you're risking a lot. I think you're risking a lot with Mount, but because Havertz has always been good. Let's be like in internationals, he was good. Had that good team that Chelsea won the Champions League. I know he's been rubbish since, but there's a talent there.
Yeah.
Same with Mount. If it wasn't that much coming off a bad year, if it was like 40 or 50, like 45 off from Mount, you think good deal.
The only thing that I think can go with you is there's other players around like Florian Ritz that if you're going to go into that 80 million bracket with Kudus, are we not going to go, okay, let's go spend 110 on
something like
Ritz?
that? Yeah.
Because like you get into that middle medium at the point where it's like, we're spending so much money because 80 million is so much money. Why not go buy the best?
Yeah.
For another 20 or 30? Because you know how good Ritz is. The only thing is, I don't know. I think I heard something that he's not going to leave.
No, none of them are going to leave, I think, until next year. After
go play Champions League.
Under Alonso's gone, then they'll probably leave. But yeah.
And
join him at Real.
So some of those players are like, wow, like those fullbacks and Ritz.
That's
and
worth
Xhaka.
That's worth 70 mil. Like that's 70.
Who Ritz?
No, the fullbacks. That's like 70 mil. Like
only thing I'll say about the fullbacks though is,
do they work in a fullback?
Well, I think Ronaldo does.
He did it in Portugal, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if like they're great players, and if you want to go set out that 5-back, like you're going to spend 80 million for them.
Yeah,
but like Frimpong basically Frimpong is in line with the striker.
Yeah, he gets the end of the box as well, gets goals back post.
Like if you sign Frimpong and you're not signing him as a right midfielder,
well, I said it to
he's
Nate.
more.
He played right wing at Celtic, played number 10 at Celtic, I think, as well. He played 10 as well at some point in his career, and then they just reverted him to a wing back this season. Last year he was playing right back. He played right wing back this season. He's played a bit all over the place, but yes, in a high paced league, like Premier League in Champions League football, you have to keep an eye on him if you're playing in a fullback.
Well, the thing is, if you were to sign him, what would you say he's more of? A right midfielder, right winger, or a right back?
Oh, right winger, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 100%. But then if your team's good enough, like you have good enough centre backs and a left back.
He could be like that Tottenham player. But even Pedro Porro is probably even more defensive than he is still.
Yeah, 100%. Jeremy Frimpong, he's got the 3 centre backs and he's got Granit Xhaka to sit in as well, and he's got Grimaldo.
That team is amazing.
That just works. That's just players working together well. I don't think.
Did you see like the meme about the Super Cup?
Yeah,
it was like Real Madrid versus
the eyebrow versus Ancelotti
versus Leverkusen. 90 plus 69 goal. It's like, let's just all pause to the 85th minute. we'll just have a cup of tea, have a
kick about,
have some bickies and a coffee, and then like game on from there. 85th minute, 15 goals.
We might see it, man. In about 3 months' time, we could be seeing that game played. It'll be exciting. And it'll be the master and the apprentice. What it'll be? It'll be Alonso who's coming to take Ancelotti's job.
Well, he will.
And then it'll just be that. I
think. So he obviously had the Bayern and he had the Liverpool.
Yeah, and he said, "No, I'll wait for one more season."
But let's be completely honest here. He didn't say no to those because I want to take Bayer Leverkusen to the Champions League and I want to go well, like maybe try to win it with Bayer Leverkusen and do all this type of do all this stuff. Don't kid yourself. That didn't happen because you're getting a job from Bayern and Liverpool and probably specifically Liverpool who to succeed in Klopp's to succeed after Klopp. He's been given the Real Madrid job.
Mate, Perez
at the end of Ancelotti. Yeah. I don't know if that's next year or the year after, but he's been given it because he ain't declining those two jobs with the chance that they go both get good managers. So he's obviously wants to coach one of his 3 clubs.
Yeah. And why not Madrid, the best team in the world?
Yeah. Mbappe, so you're not declining Liverpool and Bayern when they're both on the market at the chance that Liverpool and Bayern manager now go and succeed. And that job isn't on offer for 10 years.
Yeah. The only thing I think he might have not gone Bayern because he wanted to keep like allegiance to his club. So I thought he'd go Liverpool. But again, if you're not accepting Liverpool, probably the top 6, top 5 clubs in the world, you're going to number 1, right? You're going to the best one there.
Well, he has to have some sort of like handshake deal with.
100%. This rumor wouldn't come out of nowhere if it hasn't been like somewhat seen or felt about. I just think, that would be a scary proposition because Frimpong at a Real Madrid back four, mate, attack all you want because
imagine he just chucks Vinny and Mbappe up top, and then he puts Bellingham behind them, and then he goes like Frimpong on right wing back, and he'll probably whoever plays.
But they've got like generation. They've got
centre backs to do it as well.
Yeah,
they've got Rudiger, Militao, and Alaba.
Yeah. Mate, Nacho's playing like a 20-year-old all of a sudden again. Like, it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's unbeatable. Mate, to manage that team...
Maybe that's why, as well, they're going to get Alphonso Davies this year.
He's gone there as well, yeah.
So he's going to go this year.
Yeah.
And it'll just be like, Xabi comes in and buys Frimpong.
You secure the...
Probably brings in Florian Ritz and Frimpong.
I think so. But it's going to be hard to fit them all in. There's too many players.
It isn't, though. I don't think it's that hard. It'll be like Vinny and Mbappe up top, Ritz at 10, and Bellingham drops to the 8.
I think they'll still continue with Vinny, Mbappe, Rodrigo. They'll play Bellingham and then they'll play Tchouaméni and Camavinga.
Well, you reckon Xabi will switch and play a fullback?
I think I'll play a fullback, yeah. But with Real, you have to play 6, so 3 midfielders and 3 forwards. You can't not play like.
But you are pretty much
because you're going to be dropping Arda Güler, you're going to be dropping Endrick, and you're going to be dropping Rodrigo if you only play 2 up top. You're telling me you're going to drop 3 of the best talents in the world.
I wouldn't be surprised if Rodrigo got sold.
They say that, but like if I was around, I couldn't do that. This guy saved you how many Champions League games?
Yeah, I know, but
and you're going to sell him?
It's not their fault when they got like basically the best player in every single position.
Yeah, you got the 2 Ballon d'Ors favourites arguably up top next season for your team.
3.
I'm Bellingham, so yeah, 3, all 3 of them. All 3 favourites will be up top for your team next season. Ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying.
No space.
Crazy times. This will be the actual like bringing back the proper like.
It's like AC's. It's like AC's team.
This is like the proper bringing back the Galacticos.
When they just bossed Barca out the play. Quickly in a row, Everton 1 versus Sheffield United 1-0. Yep. Decore scored in that one. Once again, back in his goal scoring form. And Newcastle only managed to draw to Brighton 1-1. Joel Veltman scored, and Elliott and Longstaff scored there. So somehow United's hopes for any Europe are still alive because it's all going to come down to this midweek game versus Newcastle at Old Trafford. That's going to be very interesting, that one there. Because Chelsea now just pushed on. So before we get into the other games, let's go through our season awards.
Yeah.
So we've got the best player, the worst player, young player of the season, best signing, worst signing, manager of the season, game of the season, storyline of the season, and biggest surprise of the year. There you go. I've rattled all them off. Lot to go through.
Yep.
Let's get started at the top. The best player of the season, player of the year. Who have you gone with?
So I've probably gone with one that not that many people would be going with. He's been exceptional this season, but probably as of recent, probably gone under the limelight a bit.
Who's this?
Ollie Watkins.
He's gone with it. I like it.
So let's look at it from two perspectives. So you can look at it from the stats perspective and the player perspective. And first of all, he's got the most goal contributions in the whole Premier League. Tick. So that's straight away. And we're talking about a team. He's playing for a team in Villa who have pushed on this season basically like they're playing Champions League football next year. Yeah, like without anything catastrophic happening, they're going to be there. And like he's been so important. And he hasn't just been scoring. Like he's got 19 goals, got the 12 assists as well. Yeah. So I think he's like topped the assist charts, third, I think in the goals.
Third in the goals.
He's been exceptional all year. Like, don't get me wrong, probably the last 2 months he's probably taken that little step off. But how he started off the season, especially probably through those months of October, November, December, he's been exceptional. And I think it's very easy to go, Cole Palmer or go someone like that. But we're also forgetting like what Ollie Watkins has done. Yeah, like he has been Villa this year. I know there's been a lot of other players that they can't finish fourth with Ollie Watkins, but like he's been that guy and he's taken that next step up. Like he was one of those players who was in League One, dominated League One, then went to the Championship, dominated the Championship, and he came into the Premier League straight away, but probably didn't like set the complete world on fire the first 18 months. He was definitely good enough to show that he was Premier League proven now, but it was like, now can he be up there with the best? And like you now even put those considerations when you hear about like the England sports, like, could Harry Kane play number 10? Like you've heard these type of stuff. That shows how good Ollie Watkins is. That like obviously that's never going to happen. But the fact that there's talks about like, could we move Harry Kane to put Ollie Watkins there? Shows how good he's been this season.
It's good. I got him later on. Well, a part of him later on in my other awards, but I went Cole Palmer in the end. Same thing. Most goal contributions now. He's also on 31. He single-handedly carried Chelsea, and just a mini storyline that's developing as the season's gone in here. Chelsea might get Europa League football, let alone Conference League football. So if he can be the player that's dragged them all the way from 12th all the way up into a Europa League spot. Like, who would have thought? Forget Conference League. We're talking about Europa League now. They have a chance to get. They're probably in position A to get it. That's just like wow, right? And this guy, I said it since the start of the season. The fact that City sold the guy that basically, in the way, won them that Super Cup versus Sevilla. He scored that wicked goal in that game that he'd take it to pens.
And he scored at the start of the season.
And he scored in the Community Shield. I'm pretty sure
against Arsenal.
Yeah, and he scored an Arsenal in the Community Shield. So
good goal as well.
2 great goals and 2. Again, they're not massive, but they're still cup finals. He's a big-time player. I thought, damn, like, again, another universe. Foden and Palmer both go kill it this season for City. But, like, the fact they sold that for so little, but then also coming across and becoming now the leader of this Chelsea team, he's basically taken that mantle. Forget the captains. There's no one really captain at Chelsea, let's be honest. He's taken that leadership role. Some of his passes on the weekend, a great pass, assist again, goals, clutch time moments, great finishes, great assists. City are probably kicking themselves in many regards that out of all the youngsters, they probably sold the wrong one. Maybe Oscar Bob should have been sold or something like that. I don't know how that would have worked out, but I just think it's been a fantastic season for him. And considering what he's doing with Chelsea, if they end up finishing in Europa League, I think you have to just give him it. It's a similar thing with I thought before with, I think if City win the title, they'll probably end up giving it to, the Premier League will give it to Foden. If Arsenal win, they'll probably give it to Saliba or Rice or so, whoever gets it. But if Chelsea finish in Europa League, you have to give it to Palmer, surely. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just crazy because I've been big on like Poch's and Chelsea's back this whole season. But I think that was more from like, I just didn't see them progressing from that 12th. I was very I made it very clear if they were able to, you got to keep Poch in. And look, you've seen now these last 6 months, maybe just a little bit less, how influential Palmer has been to. I was seeing that Chelsea have only got less points, I'm pretty sure, than Arsenal and City in the last 15 Premier League games or something like that.
In that period, it'd probably be those are big boys. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So there you go. Watkins and you got Palmer. So probably not the ones that everyone expected. He's got a worse player now. He got his worst or most disappointing player, I guess.
Oh, most disappointing, Casemiro.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
So it was like him or Rashford for me.
Yeah, it's pretty. There's only certain clubs you can pick from this year.
Yeah, because you got to be a good enough player
to be a worse player.
To really disappoint you and the reason I didn't go Rashford is to a point we had to, even though we didn't because he kicked on last year, you had to kind of expect this because he's done it before where he's had that outrageous season. Yeah. We did it under Ollie. And then he has a crap one the year after. And then again. So, like, I think it's more like, obviously it surprised me still because I was like, oh, how good he was last year. Yeah. But it was more like he's in my thought process was he's liable to do this.
Yeah.
Whereas Casemiro, like, he was in the Rodri debate, and we were both on this table having an argument with Flynn, and I can remember this vividly, how he was way better than Rice.
Yeah.
And at one point I said he was better than Rodri. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure you agreed, like, at that point in the season, it was like halfway through the season before Rodri did the amazing things at the end of last season in the Champions League final, in the Nations League, in a couple, I think he scored in the FA Cup.
FA Cup final he scored. Yeah.
Like, Casemiro had a better season.
That's the thing.
So now we're like, he wouldn't even be in the top 10. Arguably the worst. He's got an 18-year-old who's way better than him now at United. He goes into centre-back and, like, even last night, it's obviously he's took that kick and it's partially not his fault. But once you do that, you get up. And if you get up and then you still can't get up in time, fair enough. But the bloke looks like he's put the car into reverse. He's like,
he's
out of his driveway.
He's running up a hill. You took the words out of my mouth. Exact same thing. Because I said in my notes, I remember sitting here end of last season, so maybe a little bit later, and we were comparing Rodri and Casemiro and saying even despite Rodri's doing so well, that Casemiro is still right behind him because of the history, nostalgia, and the continual performance.
Yep.
That was the word I remember writing, continual performance. And then all of a sudden, like, just legs are gone. I don't know if that injury at the start of the season just cost his legs, because he wasn't that slow to start the season off. He was that still trying to make the tackle and break the game up. But again, it can hurt being at centre-back and how everyone's not being available. But football, not everything's going to be perfect, right? It's going to rain. No. There's going to be shit conditions. You're going to have a shit partner next year. You're going to still perform, especially for Casemiro, one of the best midfielders in the world. So I just think the legs going, the apparent lack of care as well. Like, this is a guy that, like, plays for the Real Madrid badge. It played for United badge last season. You could tell it meant something. The drop-off's been, like, generational. Yep. It's ridiculous what that drop-off's been. So I guess that's why he, like you said, is the most disappointing or worst players, because he was here, top of the top, and now you couldn't even put him next to Conor Gallagher. Like, it's like that's crazy. The level it's at. So yeah, he's for me also is my worst or disappointing player of the season. All right, going on a more positive note, young player of the season.
So I wanted to look at this because you obviously got a couple, but properly from a player that's, like, took off this year. Yeah. So I went Cole Palmer. Right, so obviously it was probably between him or Foden. Yeah. But the reason I didn't go with Foden was more so, like, I feel like Foden's been in the Young Player of the Year debate for like 10 years. Like, Foden's been doing it now. What's he, 24? Like, I know he's still young.
Yeah.
But, like, it should be like the rising star. It should be, you have to be of a certain age or played a certain game.
Yeah, or like you've only played less than like 100 or 60 games.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I went Foden because I had to get both of them an award.
Yeah, that's fair, because you definitely would have done that if I gave Palmer.
Because I feel like the Prem would do the exact same thing. Whoever doesn't win Player of the Season will probably get, because, like, every young player is basically up for the Player of the Season, if I'm not mistaken. Like, most of them are all up for both. Like, Saka's up for both. Haaland's up for both, I believe.
Nah, Haaland's not anymore.
Is Isak's up for young players? Is he up for player? No, probably not.
I don't think Isak's up for young player either.
No, he's definitely. I saw his name.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But, like, all these young players are, like, the top of the league in terms of, like, quality.
Yeah.
So again, it was almost like a Player of the Year version 2. So I went with Foden because either way around, I think both will end up getting some sort of awards. He's got the 17 goals, the 8 assists. Pro's just he's been the Gundogan in many regards for City this season. So how can you not?
We basically took KDB's spot and said, like, you got to play somewhere else.
Yeah, Find someone else to go play. He's done that. It's true.
Yeah.
Especially when KDB was injured, he carried them. We forget that little period there where no KDB and there was no Haaland for like I think 3 or 4 weeks.
Well, even that United game where United went 1-0 up.
Yeah, who brought them back
Yeah.
on his own as well. There was no like
Because
great
they
assist
weren't that
to him.
good. Yeah, they weren't that good that game.
Dribble, put someone in your ass, score.
Yep.
That's just the guy. He's deadly weapon. He's gonna be exciting watching the Euro. So that's my young players, Phil Foden. Best signing now. This is an interesting one.
I think this was pretty easy, and I know I'm going back to back with people, but has to be Cole Palmer. He's 40 million, and he's arguably, he's your player of the season.
Yeah.
So your player of the season for 40 million.
Yeah.
When you
It links pretty well together, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I don't think there's really much to say. Like, if he was 100 million, I'd probably still say he was best signing.
Yeah.
Because he's the Premier League player of the season, or if he's not the Premier League player of the season, he's in the top 3 players this season. And then you've signed him for 40 mil. I don't think how I can really debate anyone else.
I went Declan Rice.
Okay.
Again, I am trying to share it around a little bit too because Declan Rice is probably my top 3 player of the years as well, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think he's probably Arsenal's representative for me, if you know what I mean. Like,
So I think that's very valid. The only thing with me was the
value, though.
The value.
Yeah, the value's
So you go,
crazy.
Like, for every dollar you spent, the output you got. And you got the exact same output from Rice and Palmer, you'd say, this year.
Yeah.
Whether it's a little bit more or not, it's the same. Okay?
But you're paying double the amount.
But you're paying double the amount.
Yeah,
and I understand what you did because you didn't want to put him in double segments.
Yeah, I just spread as much as I could across.
That's fair point.
Yeah. But again, last night it showed me once again why he's like a gun. And me and Flynn have been harping on it since, God, you probably see what I'm saying, since like the 3rd week. We want to see Partey and Rice. We've seen it now for 4 games. And Rice is just like, he's everywhere now. Goals,
he's
assists.
playing 8 more now than 6.
Good passes forward. Last night, I think he was their best midfielder by a long way. I think the other two were very average. Like Odegaard and Partey were just there. I think Rice was actually at the races.
It was a hard game though because Arsenal didn't really play Arsenal.
No, they played bloody Man United.
West Ham.
They played Moisey and O'Neill, mate. They played fuck the bus. But yeah, he's a leader. He's won a trophy last year. Could win a trophy this year. And I guess the only reason I put him in is what's the one difference from last season? There's like one only, and it's him. Yeah, maybe definitely. Havertz as well. We put Havertz in the discussion, but Declan Rice has been incredible. So he's mine, and Cole Palmer easily can be yours as well. Alrighty, worst signing.
Mason Mount. A lot of United players getting in these. In the poorer awards, I would say.
Yeah.
But he hasn't played. He's injured out again.
Yep.
I think he started 3 games.
Surprised, yeah, that's probably I'll check for you, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
3-4 games he's probably started. He's come across for 60 million. United have gone and bought him because it was like, we're gonna buy these players to like take that next step. So they bought him, Onana, and Højlund. But Højlund's been decent, especially for his age, and Onana has picked himself up, so you can't put them two. But
yeah,
Mount hasn't played, and whether you say that's his fault, it's still a bad signing from United.
That's the thing, right? It's not on him because he hasn't played. I still want to give him a chance because I think you have to see him play 3 games in a row, even from the start. Like he's played been 14 appearances in the Prem. It doesn't tell me how many he started, but like he's played 500 minutes in the Prem. We're just comparing Ahmad's 300. Like he's played, I know it's 200, but still, he's played 2 more games, basically more than
that's
Ahmad.
it.
And Ahmad, who have been crying out for so long. Like this injuries. If you're going to sign him, maybe it's on the worst signings the United physio stuff, where they sign the physios, because the fact that he has not played and he's never really had injury problems, I think he's missed more games this year than he has in his whole entire career combined.
Well,
it's ridiculous.
Last year he missed at the end of the season. He had an abductor problem. But that's irrelevant to the injuries he's had this year. And then before that, I think he had an injury at the start of 21.
Like, how can you possibly have someone who's never really had injury problems and is just a bit out of form go and just miss?
But there has to be... This is where, like, you have to look at it and everyone goes, everyone has injuries. But, like, United this season have had injury after injury. Like, what's going on at training? It actually does make. What's the strength and conditioning? Like, you got to put all these things. There needs to be like a full football review.
Yeah.
Like, strength and conditioning department, physios, the doctors, everything, because they can't just keep getting injured. It doesn't make sense to me.
You're paying 65 million on a player, you'd hope you want to keep them fit, right? So I don't know what the hell they even the bloody Ronaldo thing. What's the bath and the spas doing? Like, what's going on there? You know what I mean? Like, surely it can't be. Like, you can't be a guy that's never really been injured to being injured all year. It's ridiculous.
Yep.
And the fact, he plays 2 games and gets injured again. Like,
I know.
Bloke just disappeared again. It's random. All right, manager of the year.
Unai.
Same. We're on the same page with that.
Yeah, I think some of them probably put themselves in. Obviously, every one of these, like, every one of the criterias have a few players, but I think there's just one, probably apart from player of the year.
Yeah, we got 2 or 3.
Yeah, and maybe even young player of the year. Like, the rest got that one that just, like, stands out. And I think Unai's that guy. So it was probably like Unai or Ange. Obviously, Arteta's in it, but
if Arteta wins it, obviously he gets it. But we don't think he's going to win it, right? That's where I sort of come from. If Arsenal win the league, Arteta deserves it.
I still think, though, what Unai's done with Villa, obviously he's winning the league, Arteta, so you have to give it to him. But what Unai has done with Villa would be more impressive than Arsenal winning the league, in my opinion.
Oh, that's it.
Fourth with Villa after 2, and when he came in halfway through last year, they were basically in relegation fight.
Yeah, but like beating City though is like that's like,
I know
historic.
No, you're definitely right.
But I'm still with you. I'm with Emery, but I'm saying if Arteta did win the title, would you change or you'd still say No,
I'd probably change it, but it'd be very like 50-50 for me.
Yeah, okay.
Because I think what Unai's done, like even you've got, although they're out of form, you've got Newcastle United and Chelsea, who is all finished above, who have all better squads. Who are all looking from last year to kick on, probably bar Chelsea, who probably have.
Yeah.
And then you've also got a Tottenham team who came out the gates, like, I don't even know what happened. And then they've still gone, we finished 4th. And if you actually go look at the Premier League ladder, they're not even far off Liverpool, who everyone was raving about.
Yeah.
Like, let's have a quick look here. Yeah, they're 10 points off Liverpool, which is still a bit.
But it doesn't feel like it was like the big, massive gap that you thought.
Exactly. And they win their last 2 games, they get in the 70-point mark.
Pretty impressive.
Which is very impressive. And they're that type of team as well that are starting to get funds who are going to then probably kick on like Newcastle tried this year, probably bring in another midfielder after some of their injuries they've had this year. I'd say another defender, but probably more fullback.
Yeah, fullback, midfielder, maybe another forward.
Probably just more like the bench now as well.
Yeah.
So probably only people that would start would be maybe a midfielder and a fullback.
Yeah.
Because you're not dropping Pau Torres or
Carlos or Konza or any of those guys. Yeah.
Well, you probably would have to drop one of them if you brought a fullback in, but yeah.
Yeah, to try and slide everything across. Yeah. I went in as well. 20 wins is the biggest thing for me. Like 20 wins in the season is pretty handy. And they had to do European football, which obviously I got knocked out of, but still you had to bounce European football. Didn't go far in the cups, but still, like, Unai has always been a cup guy. No one's ever said he's been elite, but he's put together one of the league seasons. They've bounced up and down. They've had moments they've looked a bit dodgy, but they've always fought through. And again, they've been more consistent than Tottenham, more consistent than United, Chelsea, Newcastle. That's the bit. Even Brighton, you've beaten all these teams that were in and around you or above you last season. So in that regard, that's a positive. Like, you're taking the right step there. Now you got to build, like you said, that winning mentality, that winning squad for next year and keep going again and again and again, because this thing you can't halt. You can't do what sort of Brighton did or what Newcastle sort of did and like get a squad and just not really develop it enough or sort of stagnate. You got to keep pushing on.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you see what happens with these teams. They can just get suffocated. Like West Ham got suffocated. Like Brighton have got suffocated. I'm not comparing, not like that low down, but you can fall into that bracket if you're not careful. So big year next year for Unai as well. All right, the final 3, a bit sort of subjective-y.
Yep.
Game of the season for you?
Chelsea 4, City 4.
Fair. I was close to putting this one in. Very, very close.
So it was a really good game. And I think it just got topped off right at the end with a Cole Palmer penalty in the 95th minute.
Given these ones.
Yeah, like against his old team, and to have 8 goals in a game and of such quality as well.
Yeah.
I think it was hard for me to surpass this game.
Yeah. I was going to do that, but for once let my red side bleed through. I went United 4, Wolves 3.
Yeah, that was my second one.
The one game we've been good all season. The one game we had our whole squad all season. The Kobe Miney late goal. It was an exciting game as well. For the neutral, it was probably exciting to watch as well. It was a back and forth game, chances galore. I've had a lot of 4-3s this year. Like, think of obviously Chelsea United 4-3. Tottenham had a 4-3 against someone else. And you obviously got like some of the late winners this season, like Nunes at Newcastle. I thought of that one as well, but I had to put the boys in, and Kobe Miney's opener in there as well. So that's my game this season.
Yep.
Again, that's probably the game of the season, but it had to be selfish at one point and
No,
biased at one
definitely.
point.
I can see that.
That's just fun to get one in. All right, last two. Story of the season. What is that one for you?
So probably like with 2 months left in the league, it'd have to be the 3-horse race.
Yeah,
so
that's a good score.
it starts to look back at those times when you had Prime United, Wenger, Arsenal, and Mourinho, Chelsea.
Yeah,
like
good days.
we haven't had when was the last time after that we've had a 3-horse race? And yes, it's fallen off by Liverpool, but it was a 3-horse race for 9 of the 12 months of the season.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was pretty exciting, especially from a neutral who we don't have much hope with United. At least seeing a good Premier League season, and at least now we're also seeing it taken right to the end of the season with a 2-horse race.
Yeah.
But it was a 3-horse for most of the season. Like, we've just become accustomed to City dominating recently.
Yeah.
And it started to probably make myself lose a little bit of that interest in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Especially when United aren't doing well.
Yeah, you're nothing to watch.
So, like, having that 3-horse race, having a few other teams in and around it, like the Villas and the Tottenhams this year, have probably, like, rejuvenated my interest, I would say, is the best way to explain it.
Well spoken. My story is sort of, you sort of prefaced it before, I guess the rise of the next gen of England talent. So you've got Solanke, you've got Watkins, Cole Palmer, Foden, Saka, Wharton, Minu, and Miley. Like, that's just something, I probably missed some names as well, but that's like, I've rattled off, 9, 10 players, probably a starting 11's worth of the next gen of England players. Lewis Miley stepping up, Kobe Miney stepping up, Wharton joining Crystal Palace mid-season and probably being the best midfielder in England right now in terms of form. You've got Watkins and Solanke both competing for golden boots, Palmer for a golden boot and player of the year, Saka for a player of the year, Foden for a player of the year. These guys are all, under 24? Under 23? Oh, what is Solanke now? Something like that. But
25.
25.
Either way, he's took that next step in his...
25 or under, so all not at their prime yet. And if this is not their prime, boy, their prime's going to be spectacular. So it's exciting that the league's got local English talent producing, because for the last few years it felt like just internationals have come in and dominated. Kante's, Haaland, like it's just feel like
De Bruyne,
Bruno, exactly. Erdegaard, like it feels like all
Bernardo,
the best talent
Gundo
are just European, which is fine because that's why this league's one of the greatest. But it's good to see the English guys doing well as well. So
definitely,
it's been exciting to see, especially some of the Miley 17, Manu 18, Wharton 20, I think. All these young guys killing it as well. So that was my storyline of the season. And now the biggest surprise. You said you had a good one here for this one.
Yeah, I did have a good one. So I had Nicholas Jackson scoring 14 goals at match week 36. Like that's outrageous, because I've been on his tail the whole year about how poor he's been and everything. And like when he was at the 8-9 goal mark, I was like, oh, this is just purely because those 3 goals against Tottenham, when Tottenham had 9 men, and like he's just exploited the system. But he's got although I think he's still below his XG. I'm pretty sure
he's close. He's close to it though. Yeah,
he's getting closer to it, but he's still below. Like he's still got 14 Premier League goals. Like you don't, if you're Chelsea, you don't probably go, oh, we got to go sign a striker next year. You go, hopefully he can start to convert his chances, and he's then scoring 20 goals next season. Like. Even as United fans, like we still say Højlund's a way better player than Jackson, but like
the goal differences.
Yeah, the goals. It's just like I don't even know what to say, because the fact he's on 14 goals, like when he hit that 10 goal mark, I saw so many different reports. It was like is he the worst ever player to score 10 Premier League goals in a season? And then now he's moved on to 14. I'm like, well, he can't be that worst ever player to score 10 goals in a Premier League season.
It's like, you can't deny that.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say because I'm still like, in my head, it's still like, Nicholas Jackson is shit.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he isn't shit, but I'm like, in the same way, I'm like, you can't score 14 Premier League goals. And he's been quite influential, I would say, in the last 2 months of Chelsea.
With their turnaround,
with their turnaround and really pushing up to a point where Poch is completely safe now.
Yeah. I think absolutely now.
Yeah. So
the thing
I don't know what to say. It's just it's more confused me every time I go into the PL app and I'm like, go look at the stats and I see Jackson there. I'm just like,
he's got 2 more goals than the Andrew Trossard. He's been raved as like one of the most clinical. And I know it's a different.
Yeah,
I get that. But we all rave, and I rave about how Leandro Trossard's so clinical. He scores all his chances. Whenever he gives it an opportunity, he takes it. And I know Jackson's probably played heaps more minutes and had heaps more opportunities.
Heaps of players that we go to, like even Mateta.
Yeah, more than Mateta, more than Cunha, who's been injured but still. More than Havertz.
Like, more than Nunes, who everyone at the start of the season was like, oh, Nunes this, Nunes that.
Yeah.
And Nunes was 100 mil.
Yeah, it is ridiculous.
Or even like more than like Anthony Gordon, who everyone's saying is like the best left winger in the league this year.
More than Bailey, who was in great form. And he's only 2 goals behind Bukayo Saka. So what's saying he can't go and score 2 this week?
3 behind Phil Foden.
Nick Jackson, like 30 mil, I think he signed for. And by the way, his second full season. Like, it's only his second chance to. And I tell you what, it's making I want to go back to my preseason. I'll react to my video at some point over the off-season. In my preseason, I highlighted him. And I highlighted, who else I highlight? I think Elliot Anderson from Newcastle, and they're finally both playing. They're both playing all right. I'm like, finally my predictions are becoming somewhat at least respectable now because, he was so exciting in pre-season. He was so shit. And then he was, managing a little bit to the middle of the season. But now, he said, him and Mudryk, I think being 2, I touched them obviously with the Chelsea game, but they've come alive since they've turned it around, which is good. My biggest surprise, and very niche, but based with the South Coast, Bournemouth consistency, whilst Brighton's gone inconsistent, is my sort of surprise. I thought Brighton would, again, I didn't expect them to be Champions League, but I thought they'd at least be consistent throughout the year. So maybe they'll drop a few points, but continue to win. But they've gone through patches where they haven't won in like 12 games, and they've been like, De Zerbi's changed it up. But Brighton always screamed, get the job done, be consistent, be a unit. It seems like Bournemouth have got that now, and Brighton have sort of been the good some weeks, shit some weeks at a bunch. So again, a very niche one, but that's the first thing that sort of came to my mind, that Bournemouth are growing into that Brighton mould, whilst Brighton still need to refine that sort of form again. So there you go. There's some of our season awards. I might get it mocked up and we'll chuck it on the socials.
Oh, beautiful.
So people can see our great calls we've made for this season.
Yeah.
Quickly, Bournemouth actually lost on the weekend. 2-1 to Brentford. Late winner there from Vista in the 95th minute. And then Chelsea beat Nottingham Forest 3-2.
Yep.
Which still somehow meant Nottingham Forest was safe. But again, Chelsea just looking dangerous. Reece James comes back.
Yeah, I'd like to see it when we come together in like November next year.
Yeah.
Where they are. Like, I'm not saying I don't really still see them being in a title race next season, but are they going to be in like the top 4 race? Is our prediction from this year
come true next year?
Yeah, coming to next year. Who knows?
It's interesting. If Reece James comes back as a wicked assist for Jackson for the winner. Sterling scores, Mudryk scores, Cole Palmer gets a beautiful assist. It's like the money's actually like working, and I still reckon Sterling has to go. I still reckon Gallagher has to be a bench player instead of a starter. But you're starting to see, like, just slowly things coming together. Again, it wholly relies on if Cole, Fofana and James can stay fit. Because if you lose, obviously you lose Thiago Silva, that's a massive, a very underrated loss. I feel like, who's next to Badiashile? Who's next to these guys? Because Cole was all right, and Badiashile's been all right, but we haven't seen them together because Thiago Silva's going to hold it together. So that'll be interesting. Can Mudryk continue his good form? I think he's been really decent since the new year. Not the numbers, but just, at least quality on the ball. I don't know about you, but I think Sterling just has to go in terms of he's the past a bit.
Yep, I agree.
Bro, you think look, he's going as well. Yeah, and then interesting. Does Jackson become the striker or does Jackson become the backup striker?
Well, I think if if everyone can stay fit and Jackson can kick on from these last 2 months, it's Jackson with Nkunku behind him. And then Nkunku takes that Gallagher
dangerous.
position, but plays a little bit more attacking.
Yeah.
And that's where you probably can play Lavia and Caicedo.
That's a great midfield.
And but then you got the question of, like, how do you not play Enzo?
just thought of that.
So it's like, but that's the problem they put themselves in when they
You
bought
something
Lavia, Caicedo, and Enzo. You're not going to play all three of them in the midfield unless you're going to play David Moyes football and be
park
defensive.
the bus, yeah.
Like, we got Caicedo and Lavia are both defensive, and then Enzo would be more defensive than he is attacking.
Yeah, he hasn't had that same attacking output since the World Cup.
Well, even at the World Cup, he wasn't their most attacking.
Yeah, he was like...
It was McAllister that was their most attacking. Enzo was actually sitting, like, deepest.
Enzo's best performance are the best, but in terms of like consistency, probably their most inconsistent, I feel like. He's got like stinkers in his like repertoire.
Yeah.
Caicedo's been poor, but just been like consistently just sort of like 5 out of 10, if you know what I mean. But Enzo will drop like an 8 out of 10 performance. Next week drop like a 2.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you want that in your team. Maybe you want to. Maybe when Lavia and Caicedo works.
They paid so much for him, so I think they have to make it work. Because what are you going to do? Like sell him for 50 mil now?
I think Flynn did that last week. What's his value now? It's like nothing. Or compared to what he bought him for.
Yeah. So what do you do? Sell him for 50 mil?
Who would buy him for anything more than 60 at max? That's just But I think you're right. I'd probably like to see Nkunku, Jackson, or another striker, and then Lavia and we haven't seen Lavia all year.
And as well with the 3 swapping between Enzo, Lavia, and Caicedo, one of them's bound to be injured.
Yeah, no.
You're gonna have. It looks like they're gonna have European football next year, so they're gonna have a bit of rotation. Yeah. So I don't think that's gonna be too big of an issue.
Yeah.
I think it's just probably like those bigger games. You probably put Lavia and Caicedo more defensive.
Yeah.
And then maybe when you're versing
the low blocks,
that's when you want to play Enzo.
Let him
go and be a bit more attacking. Yeah.
So you probably sign a winger, I think. Especially if you're selling Sterling, you sign a winger.
Yeah.
Because Matty Weke starts, I think we can agree with that. Mudryk right now, do we replace him potentially? And then it's like...
Just what do you replace him for? That's the biggest problem. It's like the United probably with Anthony as well. So it's like, what is there? Like, if you get... I think that everyone's... Even with like an Enzo, if the right offer comes, it's not like, oh, he's untouchable.
Yeah.
No.
It's a real world. We have to sell players.
Yeah, but...
money.
It's like... It's that type of thing that... If they bought Mudryk for 50 mil...
Cole Palmer? Forget about Cole Palmer? You're paying him at the 10 because over the last few games, essentially.
At the 10.
So maybe in Nkunku, maybe you go back to a 5 at the back.
And playing Nkunku, where 2 strikers.
2 strikers with Jackson.
Yeah.
And play out the Leverkusen system.
Yeah.
Reece James as a right wing back will be crazy.
Yeah, I actually agree with that.
That could work.
Yeah.
But then you're benching
and you probably like
midfielders.
And then Nkunku and Cole Palmer probably play like swap between the 10 and the false 9.
And then you play Jackson up top.
As the main target man.
And then
Madueke
goes to the bench, Mudryk goes to the bench.
The thing is, with all these players, if they bought them for 50 mil and they go, oh, we're gonna lose 10 mil, we'll sell them for 40.
Yeah.
It's just human nature, unfortunately. I buy this phone for 1,500.
Tomorrow
I don't want to sell it for 400. But if someone offers me something close to it, I'll be like, yeah, why not?
Take it,
It's just like you don't want to sell something for and put such a haircut on it, basically.
Yeah. But that's the way we're in right now.
Exactly.
Like teams that when you're selling team, you have to sell for a loss. That's just the way it is. You have to get players off the book. So it's with FFP as well. But another massive win for Chelsea, another late win for them as well, which is good. And then I wish I could talk a lot about this game, but it was a ball fest. United 0, Arsenal 1. We'll talk about Arsenal first, then we'll talk about United after that.
Yep.
For us, I guess they just came with one job. I was 3. They can even tell the fans were nervous. Ian Wright in the post match that he wasn't like they obviously were really stressed about this game. About you go to Old Trafford.
It's like a derby.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, no matter how good United are, or no matter how bad they are, no matter how good or bad Arsenal is. It's always one of those games, and especially that it was away from home. It's always one of those games that you're like, you think you're going to be fine because you're the better team, but it's just like, you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Those type of games you're always up for. And you saw United, they were up for it in comparison to what they've been recently. But yeah, Arsenal they came to do a job. They did the job. They got that goal, which
Shit.
yeah, it was like well, I don't even know what happened. But the only thing that I'll say about Arsenal is if they didn't get that goal, where else were they getting a goal?
Yeah. And obviously they would have gone after it a little bit more. We
More,
know.
exactly.
We know that. We're not just being one idea. But like it didn't have that same... Like, as I said, Erdegaard was poor. Partey was poor. Saka, I think Deloitte did a great job on Saka. Trossard probably was their best player and scored the goal. Havertz looked like he had some moments.
Saliba was good as...
I think Saliba was their best player on the pitch by a long way.
Yeah.
Like Højlund was trying I feel like this is going to be a battle in the future. Like, come years on, if hopefully United improve, that's going to turn to the clash of tides between Højlund and Saliba, because there's a bit of feeling there. Like, every time one of them would win it, they'd push the other off the ball. And obviously the non-penalty in the first game as well, which I also think was closer than everyone gives off with Saliba and Højlund. I think there's a bit of like...
Yeah, definitely.
There's a bit of feeling there.
But yeah, that's the only thing. But obviously, they got that goal. And after they got that goal, it was just like...
David Moyes.
There was no... What the thing was, and it makes complete sense, is Arteta didn't want to push Arsenal too high.
Yeah.
Because the problem with pushing Arsenal too high was there was holes in the back.
Yeah.
And United, everyone knows, is probably...
Counter-attack FC.
Yeah, counter-attack FC. And so I don't think there's much more. But moving on to United, I thought they played well. They didn't have clear-cut chances. But I'd say they took it to Arsenal to a degree.
I would agree. I think would.
Yeah. Especially with the team we had out there, like, of our starting 11, who would actually be there? Højlund, Garnacho, Manu.
But even it's
four people.
If you tell me at the start of the season, like, if we're going to be really, really like make it sound bad, Højlund would have started at the start of the season, Garnacho would have, and Onana. The rest would have been...
Dalot.
At the start of the season, do we have start Dalot at the start of the season?
Yeah.
Okay, we started. So there's 4. The start, I say, come Wolves game.
And even now, it'd be 5.
Yeah. But that's the thing, like, should Manu be starting? I don't think so, because his legs the poor kid's legs are gone. Like, he's been running around, 15 straight starts for a, 18-year-old in the Prem? That's not good. Like,
lucky we don't have we do have a midweek game, don't we?
Yeah, midweek game. And again, I guess it's turning out to be like, if you want to get European football, a must-win versus Newcastle.
Yeah.
Because then you equal the points up, and then it's whoever drops on the final day, whoever blasts final day. So there's still a chance for that. But as you said, I think it was a good game for United. I think Garnacho was really, really impressive.
I have a question,
Just things didn't go his way, I feel like.
Does it really matter? It's Conference League.
Here we go.
So that's my question for you, because my question is the reason you want to bring in reason you want to get people want to get Champions League, people want to get Europa League, is because certain players will only come to your club.
I know.
I don't know if a certain player goes, oh, you're playing Conference League, I want to come. Like, them coming to United would be a bigger factor than you playing Conference League. Whereas
I think it's not that, though. It's the fact that we can actually then build a squad to play competitions. And, like, Derek Ten Hag loves trophies. Let's be honest. He just loves them. We've gone to, 3 cup finals, went to a semi-final of the Europa League last year. Like, and don't get me wrong, it's another chance to win a trophy. And I know it's shit. And if we win it, we're going to get memed more if we were winning it if we weren't in it. If you know what I mean? Like, we'd rather not be in it for the fucking banter. But it's a trophy's a trophy. Like, go Arsenal and win it. Like,
I understand that, but it's
just
Man
United. Like,
it's just a token cup that puts a little bit over the cracks, in my opinion.
Oh,
I wouldn't mind.
You'd rather just have nothing and just Prem.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind just having a season where we can really not push, like, even like someone like a Manu who playing game after game, and just find a nice squad, get rid of these players, probably get a little bit of a thinner squad and have more of those youngsters around, because we won't need as much, and really start to like look at the youth. We've seen it work this year, but take that next step next year.
Go on again.
Clean it out. Get rid of the Rashfords. Get rid of the Antonys.
Yeah.
Martial needs to be off the books.
Yeah.
Maguire off the books. Johnny Evans off the books. I'd even go Varane and Lindelof off the books.
Yeah, Casemiro off the books.
Casemiro off the books. Don't obviously sign Amrabat.
Yeah.
Eriksen out.
Yeah. Just the whole bloody squad gone.
Wan-Bissaka out.
Yeah.
Getting Brandon Williams off the books. So that's 12. And honestly, like, there'd be some there that you'd be like, why are you keeping... I'd keep Dalot. You got to keep Onana. You keep Manu, Garnacho, Ahmed,
Lisha,
Bruno
Højlund,
and McTominay. And you're going to say McTominay, but I just think...
Can I say quickly before you go?
Yeah.
I miss Fred.
Yeah, me too.
Yesterday was just Fred's game. Pass to Fred, mate. Get him back in there.
But
If they can sign him back, I'd literally
I don't want to start McTominay. Don't get me wrong. But I just think McTominay offers something off the bench. And McTominay offers something around the club, in my opinion. He's not one of those cocky people.
Tantrums.
Yeah, he's not one of those cocky people. And everyone can say it about Maguire, but Maguire that wants to play football and he's not a starter. I think
best for his career.
I think McTominay doesn't really need to, like, McTominay will be happy being that person off the bench. If he's not, then get rid of him. I think McTominay is the Cole Palmer situation.
Yeah.
Where it's like, Pep went and spoke to Cole Palmer and said, your role's going to be, you'll play some here, some there.
Yeah.
And that's what you do with McTominay. You're going to play some here, some there. If not, go.
Yeah. But that's why I reminded the friend thing. I was writing down last night. I wrote down I said, I would sign Fred back for 30 or something from Fenerbahce. I genuinely would. And sell McTominay. He's a better version of McTominay.
Doesn't matter. You don't go back. You don't go back there.
I think you can. I think you absolutely can.
United got to really just start investing in the youth, but not invest in Chelsea youth. So Chelsea youth is 18, 19-year-old, goes as outstanding year, go spend 110 million on them.
Yeah.
More like go spend 30 million on these other type of players.
Interesting. I don't know how they'll manage to do that because everything is 20% more with United. So it's going to be
obviously. But I think there's definitely, and start going really hard with the youth. Start bringing more youth people through the academy. Then we've got plenty of. What's the Dutch guy's name? Aaron.
Aronson.
Aronson.
Yeah.
How come he hasn't got much game time this year?
He came to the preseason. So I don't know. Maybe this preseason it might be his chance to break in. But he came to the preseason tour last year, but then just didn't see him for the rest of the year. Yeah. He's supposed to be the next. The thing that annoys me, we sold bloody Alvaro Fernandez, the fullback.
Yeah, I don't understand why we sold him.
We sold Gerardo, the Uruguayan guy as well. Two great fullbacks.
But I thought Alvaro Fernandez was supposed to be really good. Like, he was really good on loan last year as well.
At Preston, he was killing it. And
I didn't know he actually got sold.
I'm pretty sure it sold, yeah. Way.
For what?
To a bag of chips to Spain, mate. 5 mil, I think, 6 mil.
Really?
Yeah. So that's the problem. You have this talent, you say, which they obviously don't see enough in them because they never keep them. Because Gerardo and Fernandez were left and right backs.
He plays for Benfica.
How much did he get sold for?
Oh, no, don't worry, wrong.
Oh, okay.
Wrong one, I think.
I think he got sold to one of the Spanish teams. I don't know. I just think, I absolutely agree with you buying the young players.
He's on loan.
He's on loan.
At Benfica.
But it might be an option to buy because I'm sure there's like a 6 million number that was thrown up there.
Yeah, not too sure. So he was on loan at Granada for the start of the season, apparently.
Yep, that's it. He went to Spain at the start of the season.
And now he's at Benfica. He was at Granada.
Yeah, he's assisted a winner against Barca.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Facundo Palestri's out at Granada as well.
Yeah. But he's one I wouldn't necessarily be against selling.
Really?
I think he was good.
I like him a bit more than some of the wingers we've got now, man.
No, me too. But
I think he's a bit more advanced than in terms of his progression. He's more advanced. Than
maybe.
There's a lot of
there's a lot of thoughts, and I think we could do a whole video, me and you, looking how to deconstruct United,
Chelsea, United, and West Ham and Brighton. There's a lot to go through.
Yeah, so there's a lot we can go through there, but I think you've just got to cut it, and I think PSG want Rashford. Let him go. If you have to let him go for 50 mil, let him go for 50
I'll take 40 and run, mate. Get rid of him.
I think you get. I wouldn't be surprised if they offered you 60 million.
Oh, mate. Bravissima. See you later. Ciao, ciao.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of these. Even Anthony, 20 mil. I know they don't want
20 mil.
20 mil, you got. I'd be wanting to get 150 million in transfers this season. Because when you add them all up.
Maguire, 40, 50.
When you add them all up, so you got Rashford, let's say you get 50.
Yeah.
Anthony, 20.
Yeah, 70.
70.
Maguire, 40, let's say.
Maguire, 40.
111.
Nah, let's say Maguire, 30.
I think he's actually all right.
Let's say you get 35 for Maguire then.
105?
Yeah, 105. You'll get 10, 15 for Lindelof.
Yeah, I say 120. Ericsson, 5. 125.
Who else are we not? Wan-Bissaka, you get 20.
Yep, so 140? Let's say
140.
That's 140. And then sell someone else. Palestri, if you want to get rid of Palestri, just another 10 mil.
I reckon you get 5 to 10 for Martial. I know he's injury prone, but
I
he's
think
still...
he's in a free. He's walking.
Oh, okay.
He's walking. Oh, Varane.
Yeah, Varane, you get... Varane from Saudi, surely you get 30.
Yeah, and then Casemiro 30.
Yeah.
That's 180. Or 190. 190.
Yeah, look how much you got there. And then you
go 60 mil younger, 40
got
mil
bring in
younger.
Todibo.
Yeah, for what? 35? How's his release clause? 40?
Shouldn't even really need to do much there.
Yeah.
Our
At least
owner owns their club. If he goes to any other club...
Shake his own hand for $1.
If he goes to any other club, our owner owns their club. Like, I don't understand. How can you... United should be in a race here against themselves.
Against... The video should be Radcliffe doing this to himself and just shaking his own hand. Interesting. But again, I want to get some deals signed before Euros.
Yeah.
So Ten Hag can be
I'm actually more concerned about... I want sell...
before Euros.
I've had enough of this buying stuff. I genuinely couldn't care if we sold 15 people this season and signed no one. I'd prefer that than to go sign 5 more people and make this squad that's just getting out of hand. With every year, it's gone deadwood. And then we go sign these players to cover up the deadwood. Get rid of the whole deadwood. And if we have to play the youngsters, we play the youngsters. Obviously, that's not going to happen. But I'd be more...
The class of 24. Let's do it.
Yeah, obviously that's not going to happen. They're going to sign players. It's your Man United.
Yeah.
But I want this deadwood gone. We've been talking about it too much. Undercut it all. You're going to have to. And
take 10 mil off everyone. Donny as well. It's another 10 mil as well.
I don't think you're getting 10 for Donny.
I think sure.
They had a 13 million buy
and didn't take it. God, take 5 then. Bro was the bloody Ballon d'Or anyway. We talk about it all day.
I remember when we said that was such a haircut that we got him for 35 mil.
It was a great deal.
We got him for nothing.
No, the time was a great deal. Bloody Ole. All right, there you go. Quickly, winners and losers. Sorry, I forgot about that. My winner was Forest, who was basically saved. And my loser was Luton, obviously, for going down, unfortunately.
Yeah, so my loser again was Luton as well. Yeah. And my winner's Chelsea.
Yeah, good point. Chelsea.
I have to give a credit where I haven't given credit in the past.
My table predictions.
There's still a chance to finish 5th, aren't they?
That's what I'm saying. My table predictions would be perfect. I could get the top 6. Oh, no, United. No, I couldn't get them. Perfect.
Nah.
So I had City top. I had Arsenal 2nd, Liverpool 3rd. I had Tottenham will screw me. But Newcastle I think I have right now bang on in 6th. I could get it. Well, we next week, ladies and gents. We'll do a point system. So as many positions off that spot will be the amount of points you'll gain, and the least points you'll win. You know what I mean? So you had United in 3rd. No, 2nd? 3rd.
Nah, 4th.
4th.
Or maybe I did have them in 3rd.
So I think I had them 4th. You had them 3rd. So because they finish 8th, you'll get 5 points. Whereas I'll only get 4 points. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
See, we'll do...
I think I'm gone then on this point system because actually I might get West Ham on point.
Yeah, West Ham, because I'll get +6 for West Ham.
See, I didn't put Bournemouth.
We all had... I checked. I'm pretty sure we all had Bournemouth down the bottom though. I think we all had them down there.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. We'll do that next week though. We'll sit here. It'll probably be an hour of just not talking about any games. We'll just talk about our predictions. So that's exciting. And our team of the season as well. It'll be very good.
Beautiful.
Very excited. We'll have at least 3 of us on the couch. Maybe Nathan as well next week.
So we've got team of the season next week as well?
Team of the season and ladder reviews next week. So it'll just be an hour of just us chatting about our predictions and crying and laughing at ourselves probably for the rest of the episode.
Are we going to go through the games next week?
If something dramatic happens, we will. But we'll have the live watch along, so I think that will basically turn into
okay, beautiful. Yeah, we'll review that at the end. We can probably do that at the end of the watch along as well.
We'll have all the games going, so we'll be reviewing them as they're basically happening.
Beautiful. Sounds
Make sure to join us, by the way. Again, probably all 4 of us again for the games.
And everyone getting close to the 500 subscribers.
Very close.
Now.
Let's
try to get it whilst on
the watch along.
The watch along.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't think anyone will be complaining if we get it before.
No,
but
if we can get it on the watch along,
that's a task for everyone. So everyone's still watching. Okay, we got to get it while we're on the watch along. That's got to be huge. End of season,
500
watch along, get to 500. I think we're only
we're 12 away.
I'm not sure.
We had 4 last night come through.
When I last looked, it was over the 480 mark.
Oh no, it's well and truly of that. It was 485 last night when I went to bed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're closing. I think we got a few more this morning. I had a bit of notifications on my phone. So
beautiful.
We could be getting there. That's it.
It's on.
500 on the live watch along. I said I want it before Euros. So if we can get it before Euros, final of the season, we'll do that great.
Finish the Euros and get onto the Euros, get some nice content out. Absolutely. Beautiful.
As I said, I might start getting sand. I might make this set a beach for the Euros. I might just get some sand in here and we'll sit back and watch the Euros on a beach. thank you for joining me, mate. Thank
Thank
you
you
for
very
watching
much.
along.
Yeah,
Good
great
episode. More waffle to come, ladies and gents. One more week with us. Have a bit of a break, and then we'll be back for the Euros. So keep an eye on the channel. Until next time, guys. See you later.